All right, things are a little cramped in the garage right now. We still got to put the exciter back together, but I bought this snowblower last year for 40 bucks. It didn't run well, and the handle was broke off. So I welded the handle back on, and I kind of got it to run, but it really wasn't running the way I wanted it to, and it wasn't reliable. So when Black Friday, rolled around, this Predator 212cc 6.5 horsepower engine was on sale for $50 off. So I got this for $100. So far, I'm into this snowblower, $140. It's gonna snow tomorrow, January 6th, 2024. Let's see if we can get this engine and that snowblower and then sell it for a profit before it snows. Here we go. Well, how's that? see, do the bolt holes match up? What do they do? Got a keyway on there. Uh-oh. We need a pulley adapter. Well, I'm not going to be able to finish this today, that's for sure. Crap. Yeah, that was a bigger, Sweet. So this mounting plate has two different mounting location, or two different sets of bolts to mount whatever you're putting on this plate for, because this plate was sold probably with like 5, 6, even more different machines. So as you can see, those are our old mounting holes, and these are the new ones we're using. Sweet. So that's a simple part. No drilling. I reused the bolts. Arrgh. Dang, that stinks. Remember, there's no oil in these either. There's no gas, there's no oil. Add a fuel stabilizer. Yeah, why don't you just not use crappy gas? Don't use that true fuel. Just use octane or ethanol-free fuel. Wawa sells it now. Alright, something else I can do. Take this off. You guys can see that, right? That mounts up to... which way? Yeah, that way. Oh, does that not fit either? Oh, those aren't good. All right, we've got our 3/4 to 1 inch adapter pressed into our double pulley. Just needs to rotate a little bit so that the keyways line up. And then what we can do is get it onto the shaft, line the keyways up. We're gonna have to cut the adapter a little bit because it's too long and I don't want it sticking out, but that shouldn't be too hard. So let's get to it and I'll check back in. Alright, we've got the adapter cut to size to fit perfectly onto the shaft. I use the deburring tool on the inside diameter to kind of clean it up, make it easier to get it onto the shaft, because you've got a little bit of a chamfer right there, so I just wanted to make that better. This will pop into there, and then we'll pop it onto there. Good. All right, to recap quick, some things have changed along the way here. It was a ton of work to get this main pulley, including an adapter, because this shaft is 1 inch. The shaft on the Harbor Freight 6.5 horse 1212cc Predator engine is 3/4 of an inch. So I purchased an adapter that needed a ton of modification. It was too long, I had to cut it down, that's fine. But then the keyway kept tightening up when you put it on, or I'm sorry, the keyway kept opening up when you put it on the actual shaft, and then the key itself didn't fit correctly. Nope, wasn't gonna do that. It was just too much work. Well, too much work, but not to mention, like, it was just, I don't know. I mean, this is an 8 horsepower, you know, and that's a 6.5, and so, long story short, I cleaned this up. I cleaned the tank out. I put new fuel lines on it. I took the head off. I cleaned the valves. And I got it up to a lot better compression than it was. So I've got the engine back on. I think it needs oil still. I definitely need to check that. And I just got a carb kit in moments ago. So let's put the carb together. I'm not going to show that. You guys have seen that, and I'm not good at it. So yeah, we'll check back in once we got the carb on. So I got a Briggs & Stratton OEM carb kit. There's your number right there. Well, we've got the carb back on, and I've got some positive thoughts here. Also, we've got snow, so we can test this like right away. That's too far. You guys want to be in on the air? Jeez Louise. There you go. All right. Half throttle. Full choke. Oh wait. Hee. Where's that linkage? Ooh, that's gonna be tough to get on there. All right, I'm just gonna have to do it by hand then. We'll see. We'll see if she spits and sputters first. A couple. All right, we know it runs. Now, does it run well? All right, everybody. Ear pro, please. Ear pro, thank you. My tinnitus is already bad enough. Let's make sure that you can see it. The sun's being weird. That's all right. Okay. No ear pro initially. That's fine. We're in neutral. The key is not hooked up. The chute's disengaged. We're in neutral. Give it a little choke. Here we go. You guys ready? Okay, all right. Does she want choke? Really choke? We're not gonna choke her. Engine's warm, it's been inside. We're gonna give her more throttle. All right, folks, we're on the phone. The GoPro died. Oh. Nope. I'm dumping gas. All right, folks, we're back. Took the carb off, changed out the needle, or the needle, the seat needle, the float needle, float needle. All right, so we changed out the float needle and put the original gasket back inside the carburetor. I don't know, this is an updraft carb. I'm not too familiar with these. So we're gonna give it full choke, full throttle, all the beans. All right, it's better. I bought it in the spring of 2023 with the intention of just making it a crappy, cheap little snowblower. I paid $40 for it. The handle was broken, and I somewhat repaired that, and it didn't run correctly. To me, that was just bad fuel, gunked up fuel inside the carburetor, and no big deal, right? Well, it's kind of a big deal because this carburetor is a flow jet carburetor. So it's two pieces. This is your bowl, and this is the main body of the carburetor, and it is an updraft carburetor, meaning this bowl has a tube that comes up through it, and your main jet is up in here. So the bottom of the main jet, which is about that long, is in the bowl and also sticking into the main air intake for the carburetor. When you start it, you pull the pull starter, the engine creates a venturi and it pulls the air through that emulsion tube, which is your main jet, and into the intake and into the engine. This carb has two main problems with it historically, and Briggs & Stratton actually had some repair bulletins out about it. Number one is these bodies warp. This and this will no longer sit correctly, and it will leak fuel. So to fix that, a gentleman on YouTube suggested using two gaskets. Well, I had an old one, and I had a new one, so I put them together, and that fixed it. The second is this emulsion tube that goes up into the bowl and the main intake of the carburetor is supposed to have a small washer that makes sure it doesn't leak fuel from the bowl and down out here. Well, those washers are no longer existent. There's been links for them, but all they are like small pins, and I can't find one online. Long story short, it's junk. I'm not messing with it anymore. I'm not messing with this anymore, and I'm also not going to spend the money to put a $500 replacement engine on here. So sadly, this thing's going to go down the road. There's nothing else I can do about it. I spent my money on it. I learned my lesson. I now know about those the flow jet carburetors. And I guess that's it. So that's the end of the story for this thing. I appreciate you guys watching, if you're still watching. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm using a phone now instead of a GoPro. The GoPro was such a pain. It never ran correctly. It never started correctly. I'm trying something new, that's all. Nevertheless, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And when I say next one, we're going to be showing that Indy. I don't know if the word is love, but it's going to get a makeover.